Welcome to all my astrology friends out there. This is the horoscope of the new moon, of the Scorpio new moon that is about to happen around the 13th of November. The 13th of November of 2023, we're going to have the sun together with the moon close to each other, around and about 20 degrees of Scorpio. And it's this video is about what is the flavor in general, and then we're going to have a look very quick, concise, precise. This is not about me predicting what's going to happen in your life, but it's about energies. And we have our own power to how we respond to those energies. And it's my favorite new moon of the whole year because of the character of this new moon. I always think of someone that would be born with the sun conjunct the moon in Scorpio, conjunct Mars in Scorpio, opposing Uranus. Wow. What kind of individual would that be? And that is going to describe the energy of that new moon. Now, this is all about authenticity, individuality, endings for sure, new beginnings, absolutely. And it's not for the ones that don't want to have a true life. So if you find yourself in a situation and you think that everyone else is the cause of your problems, and you think that as an adult, of course, you think that you can't change your situation when it comes to people, when it comes to the things that you choose in life, when you have no choice at all, basically, then this is not your video. Because this video is all about those people who've got courage and who don't want to be in the victim role, who want to say, like, I'm going to mobilize all my energy and I'm going to make it happen. It's like the warrior for the soul. I mean, this Scorpio energy is a warrior for the soul. And if you are a person that has been in, for instance, a job, with it, I can relate so much to that. I worked so many years in a corporate organization where I felt like my soul was dying. And still I was there. I was doing so many hours. I was doing so much work there. And I knew it was not good for my soul. But underneath that is a fear, of course. So what is your fear? Because Scorpio is all about fear and conquering that with Mars, with the energy of action or no action. Could be that as well. I get to that in a minute. And it's all about, do we have the courage to do so, to change our lives? And yes, to go into that state of fear and to feel that fear very much. Because, of course, I remember when I was at that company, and of course, astrology, it was a hobby of mine, and I didn't know that, can you make money out of a hobby? And can you live your life? And can you have a good life with that, with doing what you love to do? Not only for the money, but you have to be realistic, right? And my goodness me, it's here the thoughts that need to be adapted, that need to be changed. First and foremost, I have to go through that transformation process of you thinking differently. It all starts there. If you think, nah, it cannot happen, it will not happen, because you're not even projecting all those energies. The brain and the thinking, it's energy, right? It's energy. And if you're not going to send that out, and if you're going to send out energy like, yeah, same old, I'm trapped here. That one as well. I'm trapped. Can't get out of it. Of course, you can have understanding of your situation. But at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's a choice that we make. And yes, something will have to be given up. And it's all of that, Either it is, like in my case, it was security, if you have to give up a well-paid job that is highly respected by everyone else, and then you have to give that up, and you don't know where you're heading, that is called courage. It's also a bit being a bit crazy, by the way. But anyway, that's the Uranus thing. The Uranus opposite this sun and moon, it's like the Fool and the Tarot. We are having this energy of being the Fool, but knowing very strongly what we desire and what we want to go for ourselves. And you better make sure that you are aligned with the divine. In other words, that it's your soul's purpose. And how do you know? Well, the signs. I mean, there are signs everywhere. Even this video, the horoscopes, or there are signs everywhere. And what you do for yourself is mostly in the long run the best for others as well. Don't get me wrong here. Don't think that, oh yeah, okay, I'm with my girlfriend and I can have 10 others now. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being aligned. I'm talking about your soul's purpose. And I'm talking about serious stuff, deep stuff here that makes your soul happy, that elevates you, that is not bringing you down. You know, you've got the dark side of Scorpio and you've got the elevated side of Scorpio. The dark side of Scorpio is going for your own desires and for very, you could say, elemental, or how do you say that? Elemental? I don't know. You go for those raw desires like sexuality and, you know, the ego who wants to, even criminality. It's also Scorpio. Doing things that are forbidden, basically. That's the lower vibration. That is easy now. With this energy, it's easy to do. With the sun conjunct moon and Mars all in Scorpio opposing Uranus, you know, doing stuff that you think, you know, it's my way or the highway. It's easy. But then what? So when you choose for the not so easy road, which is the elevated energy of Scorpio, which is healing, which is transformation. You take that energy and you transform it into something amazingly constructive for yourself and for others. You elevate yourself. You are mind above matter. You're standing above your desires because you know that this is what is supposed for you or not for you. I mean, this is hopefully not talking too much in riddles here, but this is what the true Scorpio is all about. It's to be in that state of huge, like the magician, you know, it's like being in a state of you've got it under control because you are aligned. Because whether you call it aligned with God, with the divine, with the universe, with nature, you name it. Because if you're not aligned with nature, I mean, nature is so much stronger, isn't it? I mean, you only have to look in the medical field, you know, like every doctor will at least once in his life or her life be confronted with the fact that nature is strong. Right? So it's about aligning yourself. And with these energies, for sure, align yourself with the divine. Go and meditate. And meditate, you don't have to sit there in front of, I don't know what, and doing all some sort of strange things. You can meditate by lying in your bed and thinking about, hey, what is it that, who do I want to be? You know, who is the version that I want to be? This is an amazing energy for that. Because his energy is very powerful, it's very strong. Yes, if you are in that job, in that relationship that is toxic, if you are in that kind of relationship where you feel that you cannot show what you were all about, they don't see you in some sort of way, you can cut the cords now. Will there be consequences? Absolutely. But that is what I'm talking about. It's your soul's purpose. It's not going to be easy, but you're going to have a true life, a real life, a life that you can be proud of, and in the long run, a better life. So grab that courage, all of you out there. Believe in the self and in the strength of the self. You are your own best friend. And you can go through that valley or that dark part of it, or that that tunnel, and it's so dark there with the scorpionic energy. But we have so much energy now to, especially the ones who feel depressed, The people who are feeling very depressed, think of why you are feeling depressed, because it's suppressing what you desire. And especially the people who are suppressing a lot, this is a dangerous time. Why do I say dangerous? Because this energy is about, I want to, it's like a volcano. It's like a pressure cooker, this energy. Absolutely. It's like, when people have those outbursts, we tend to look at them like, like for instance, the sun opposite Uranus person in a natal chart, a moon opposite Uranus person. In the natal chart, when you see that, why do these people have outbursts? It's not because they like it, they enjoy it. It's because, and of course it's not someone else's fault necessarily, but because they put themselves in situations where they suppress their true self. This is not about connecting with people. This is not about having the desire to feel one and all of that. Even whilst I'm recording this, the Venus is opposite Neptune, so it's a really opposite energy. But anyways, that as an aside, this is an energy of individuality. This is an energy of, I have to look after myself here, because otherwise I'm going to live a deadly life, so to speak. I'm going to live, but I'm going to feel dead inside. Unless you want that, of course. So I didn't know this is going to be a tantrum here, but Scorpio energy is my favorite energy. It is the most challenging energy for sure, with opposing here in Uranus. That is for sure. But it gives also the biggest, the gold at the end of the rainbow, that pot of gold out there. It's presented to us. It's a liberation that is presented to us here. So if you are in that relationship that is super, super toxic, that you just waiting for crumbs and you're investing too much, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your husband is walking all over you and manipulating you like it's crazy, this is the time where you can say no. And that's, of course, also an action. It's one thing that we say, oh, my husband or my girlfriend is abusive, but as an adult, you enable that as well. And I know it's all easier said than done. I know that. But I'm just saying, this is a time that the universe is going to support you to cut those cords if you have to, for the sake of the self, for the sake of the individual. Astrology is weather forecast. So here we have a weather forecast where we all have somewhere in our lives toxicity going on. And we can cut the cords with that toxicity, whether it is a job, whether it is a boss that's just manipulating us, and so on and so on. And they keep us in those, with the strings, and they keep us there because we fear something. We fear because we can't pay our bills. We fear because we have a mortgage going on, or whatever it is. And it takes courage to tackle that. So look at solutions. Do it in that private way of the Scorpion. Strategize, but do it for you and for those of you that you truly love, because when you choose you, the ones that you are truly loving are going to benefit from that as well. It's a very important new moon, and it has the flavor of an eclipse almost, because it's so, Scorpio and Taurus are very fixed signs, and they do that because they want to contain, they want to stick to what is. But also these signs every now and then are in need of changes. And when they do so, especially Scorpio, they transform. They are another, it's typically that transformation phase that you see in the snake is shedding off the skin, and all those beautiful metaphors, or how do you call that, and the caterpillar and all of that. It's all that stuff, that juicy stuff there. But I don't know if it's really juicy. But anyway. So go for it. What is it in your life that needs to go? I mean, it's not only Scorpio that has to do with endings and new beginnings. It's also the flavor of the new moon is already also, oh my goodness, is also about the endings and the new beginnings. And Uranus, it's Uranus. I see that often in transits, in solar returns. When I see strong Uranus, what is a strong Uranus? It's like what we have now: Sun opposite Uranus, Mars opposite Uranus, Moon opposite Uranus. It's an opposition, so it has to do with relationships. It has to do with people. It has to do with situations. And Uranus is the one that cuts off. It's the one that says, I feel like, like a cat that is in a narrow space. It's like, it's not so beautiful, is it? So it's cutting yourself off just because, not because you like it, not at all, but because you know deep down inside it's good for you. So I'm not encouraging here everyone to cut off relationships and to cut off things that are good. It's up to you to distinguish what is, and to go into your soul, deep inside, introspective, not just listening to my horoscopes but go introspective, go within and ask yourself what is good for me. What can I live with? What can I not live? And to make that decision. So we are driven by what our souls wants at the moment and what is very real for us. So take advantage of that. And at the same time, this new moon trines Neptune. So at the same time, there is healing energy. There is support. There is empathy around us. There is people that want to support us on our new paths. There are people out there. You just have to see them and open your eyes. So yes, all of a sudden, endings, new beginnings. That's in a nutshell. And Mars conjunct the Sun, of course, is one of the most male kind of aspects that there are around. I mean, it's very masculine, but in the sign of Scorpio, it's active for sure. But again, it's very, it's strategic. It's not like Aries, all open there. It's like, I'm going to take my steps. And so for everyone in that particular field where Scorpio is falling, there is a new beginning for you out there for sure, with a lot of power, with a lot of momentum as well, and continuation for the long run. Let's have a look at where this falls. For Aries, this is in the 8th house. This is in the house of the Scorpion. So for you Aries people, it's definitely about death and rebirth. I hope, of course, not too much literal, right? Not your own death, and not, you don't have to panic here. But yes, it has to do with those topics. It has to do with the topics of shared resources. It has to do with finances as well. It has to do with some sort of ending a new beginning of how you value others or how they value you, first and foremost. And there can definitely be changes that has to do with, in Scorpio, that has to do with money, that has to do with property, that has to do with inheritances, tax returns, and all of that. And all of a sudden, that can arrive there. But there, whatever it is, it seems something that has to do, there could be a crisis going on there for Aries people, out of the blue, out of your control. It's opposing Uranus, and it kind of hits your sense of self. But whatever it is, you also will feel the support that this is meant to be, in a way, with this trine to Neptune in your 12th house. Taurus, this is all about your relationships. The Sun and the Moon and Mars, it's all in your 7th house. So there's a bit of a difference here. If you are single and you've been wanting a relationship for a long time, this is it. You could attract someone who's very, very powerful, who's very charismatic, who's very strong. It could be connected to someone in your friend group as well, because a trine is to Neptune. And it could be someone who's very empathic towards you, who's very caring towards you. And that is the sort of transformation, especially when you've been single for a long time. This could mean like, very scared of connecting again. But it can be a beautiful thing. If you are in a relationship, this means either that the person that you are connected with is going through a huge transformation, a huge death and rebirth, so to speak. They are going to reveal something that they cannot escape from, you could say, and that they have to bring on the table. Be the good Taurian in that way. With the good Taurian, I don't mean that you have to let yourself walk all over, let others walk all over you. No, but distinguish if this is true or not. Don't try to manipulate here. Don't try that they manipulate you either. Be very, very honest in your connections and relationships, and that can only be the best. Honesty is very much demanded here. If you are in a relationship, and yes, for some of you, some relationships could end, but it's a good relationship is not going to end because of this, because of what's happening here with this new moon. It's only the relationships that are already dead, that are already not alive anymore, that here all of a sudden, probably because you will initiate this, because you are saying this is enough. Uranus in your first house is about you going for your freedom. And again, remember, you've got that support in your 11th house of Neptune, where the friends are there to support you. Geminis, the 6th house, this is like a rebirth and a death and a rebirth when it comes to your day-to-day work. So it could mean that you're in that wrong job, right? You're in that job that you're saying this is not for me, and that it's that you really want to stop with it, and it's a good energy. It's a good energy. And it's trining the 10th house where Neptune is. So you're getting the support of probably a new job that is way more Neptunian, that is way more showing who you are, your empathic self, your artistic self, your creative self. So for a lot of you Geminis, this has to do with work. For others, it has to do with some routines that are not so good for you, that you're just quitting. You're just saying, look, these routines, all of a sudden, I need to cut them out. I need to stop with them. They are toxic. They're not good for me. And I start brand new with a new schedule. And I'm being very strategic here. And I'm going to do this and that. And maybe if you're having already a health issue, you can really cut this out here because of this emotional release that you are giving yourself, right? So very deep for the Geminis when it comes to their day-to-day life. There's something out there that needs to go, and most of you will know it, and it's going to help you for sure to have a better routine and to be more true to yourself. What is your standard to how you wake up and how you live your life and how many hours a day you work, and it's you that is concerned here. Cancerians, this is all about your 5th house. This Scorpio energy trines your energy, which is amazing. So for the Scorpios, it's really positive energy, although it's Scorpio, of course, it's Scorpio. So there is a bit of a difference if people, the 5th house is the love house. It's the house of your children. So there could be a child going, if you have children, going through a very transformational process. So they're going through a bit of a rough time, but because of that, they transform and they become stronger. Or it could be you. Just let's say you're single, for instance. This could be meeting someone new. This could be and not just someone. I mean, it's very, very magnetic. It's very deep. It's very intense. It's Scorpio after all. And it's very sexual as well. Mars there and the sun and the moon. Wow, that's a lot of sexual energy there in the 5th house. Also creative energy. So for some of you, you're going to start a whole new project and put all your Kundalini energy there to start with. If you are in a relationship, this could mean that topics around how you enjoy yourself are going to be brought to the table, and they're going to transform, which is necessary because it cannot be longer hidden, you could say, with all that energy. And you've got a trine to Neptune in the 9th house. So if you can, do travel, around this time. If it's not travel, do go out there and go for, I don't know, maybe reading a book or a movie or something cultural, the ninth house, or doing something, going to a church or it doesn't have to be religious, by the way. It depends on what you believe in. But go to a place that is sacred, that is holy, and that can give you that peace, and that can give you that feeling that you are connected with everything. Leos, this is your fourth house. The fourth house is really your core. So on a more mundane level, this is selling your house and buying a new one. This is moving. This is because there's a trine to Neptune in your 8th house, so you could have support of shared resources, for instance. So this is really good for real estate. If it's not that, it's about your emotional setup. You need to be very honest with yourself. There is something that you haven't been honest with yourself. So look in the mirror, so to speak, figuratively, and ask yourself what it is that you haven't been truthful towards. And of course, because sometimes we do that, right? We just want to hide ourselves, and we don't want to let in our emotions because we know that they're going to be so strong. But for you, it also has to do with the life-work balance. So the balance of peace and of calmness, and the balance of work and your day-to-day life, how you want to restore that. But it's definitely something that reaches your core. Could also be a parent that is going through a very transformational phase around this time. Could be that as well. Virgos, this is definitely on a mental level. There is something that needs to go in the way that you have your day-to-day thoughts. The 3rd house, where the sun is, this Mars is, in a good way, this is a study of a skill. This is a study of a skill that is going to help you in the long run. And you've got Neptune there in the 7th house supporting you. So you could learn a new skill and have someone that you meet in a workshop, for instance. If you're single, this is fantastic energy because you can meet someone in those kind of areas in your neighborhood. When you're going in your neighborhood and there's a gathering, and it's you are very active in your neighborhood, for instance, and there you meet someone. It's a very lovely energy with that Neptune in the 7th house trining this new start, this new beginning. For others who are like having a business, for instance, this is like a death and a rebirth of an old website into a new website. It's like, something that you are doing to promote that you're not doing anymore. And you're doing something new here. And you're having a lot of energy. It could be a very busy time for you with all this 3rd energy house here in your horoscope. Could also be a short trip that you're doing, and it's like it symbolizes the end of something, the end of an idea, the end of a cycle that you're going through. Also, if you have siblings, there could be something that is ending, and that toxicity is getting out of your life, and you're starting all over again. Librans, this is your 2nd house. So this is about your worth. This is about how you value you. And this is about a breakthrough in that. It's about also trining Neptune in your 6th house. So it's almost as if there is some shift. It could be in your finances as well, that something comes to, you could say, that, especially if you haven't done your finances in a good way, this could be the point of a crisis here. But it's good because it's gonna prompt you into being more creative in your work, being more empathic in your work, and therefore recreating a more healthy financial situation. For others, this will be your self-worth, that you are like feeling, or in the past you felt rock bottom, your self-worth. No, but now you can build up again, and with a very strong or stronger foundation than ever before. Very significant for Librans when it comes to their self-worth, and the self-worth comes from within. So it can also be a realization of, I have no self-worth and therefore my relationships are not good, my connections are not good. But realizing it is a wake-up call, because it's only then you can when you can turn it around. If you're not realizing it, you just keep on going with the pattern. So be grateful for that. Scorpios, dear Scorpios, you're feeling it, right? This is all about you and your connections, your relationships. For some of you, Scorpios, who are single, this is lovely. This is a new love, because Neptune trines here in the 5th house. So this could be a new romance, because there's a part of you that just died. A part of you died and you're a new person. And it's always like that, isn't it? When we let go, when we surrender to all parts of us that we feel is no longer us, we attract new people in our lives. We attract new situations. So it is for you. So if you are in a relationship and you feel that it's not going well, or the partner could say, hey, with Uranus there, I'm out of here. You're being too manipulative, too controlling, whatever. So whatever it is, it could be either one or the other. There are definitely energies that are very tricky for you to fall for, which is, the more you fear rejection, the more heavy it can become in trying to control others. Or you could be in a relationship where the other person is very controlling. Although with Uranus there, I don't think so. Uranus in the 7th house shows more the opposite. And sometimes it shows the extreme of the Uranus, which is like, an avoidant kind of person. If that is the case, it's a wake-up call for you to get back to you and to say, hey, I'm not going to spend time with someone that doesn't want to see me. It's a lot about being seen here. And the clue of the whole story is that you see you, that you, dear Scorpio, see yourself for your truth and for who you are. And sometimes it's very confrontational, but then that is the transformation that is going on here, because you can work on yourself. If there's definitely things that you want to work on, you will. I mean, you're a Scorpio after all. You have to. You cannot escape from yourself. You cannot run away from the self. So it's a crucial time here, especially relationships for the Scorpio that are already dead, relationships that, you've been. And a true Scorpio, they kind of invest till the end. And of course, because you are very invested, you don't want to give up. That's a normal thing. But now it's like, it's time. If you have overly invested, and yes, you can see it as all that time I've put into it, it's never a waste. It's never a waste. It has brought you to where you are today. And even if that was your process that you needed to go through, it's that process of healing. A lot of healing is going on for the Scorpios. Sagittarians, this is all happening behind the scenes, isn't it? This is deep for you, Sagittarius. This is in your 12th house. This is the new moon in the 12th house. Always is an opportunity, and especially in Scorpio, to get rid of an addiction, of something that is toxic in your life. But that is a pattern, and that is quite compulsive. Could be anything, right? It could be, of course, when I talk about addictions, very often people think it's smoking, it's drinking, it's drugs, and so on. But also think of those things that are compulsive, like maybe work. Anything that you do to escape your life, whether it is working too much, for instance, whether it is being obsessive around a connection, right? Because it gives that it's like, it can't really get into reality. It's the 12th house, or it's a bit secret there, but it gives you a way to escape your true life, what you're going through at this particular moment. Well, you can cut those cords. You can cut those cords now with Uranus in your 6th house to say, look, I'm going to change those routines. I'm going to change it. And therefore, I'm going to cut the cords and surrender to these addictions, so to speak, because it's what it's all about. And that's an ending there. And it's so empowering, you know, because after all this scorpionic energy, I mean, the planets like the sun and Mercury, it's all going to go into your sign very soon. So, which is your time to glow and to show who you truly are. So this is a look in your life where it is that you want to, that you use as an escapism. So I'm thinking about the movie. Is it Nemo with Dory? You know, Dory that is like, and then she reads the sign of escape. You know, it's that, or the song of Janet Jackson, Escapade. You know, you don't want to go there because it's not true. It's not real. You want to go for reality. And you're getting support of Neptune in the fourth. So you're getting support from the home life, or relatives could be that as well. Capricorns, this is not so bad for you because it's sextiling your energy, and it's in all kind of social light houses that this is occurring. It's in your 11th house. So for Capricorns, that could be a connection that goes through a transformation. And Neptune is in your 3rd house. So beautiful healing words can be spoken here. So maybe you are single and it is a friend turning into something more. Could be very romantic here, but also very kind of tough. And you're fearful of this as well because it's in Scorpio. On another level, it could be a friend that is going through a crisis, some sort of a crisis, and you're helping them. You're helping them mentally, and you're helping them so that you can, you know, go through this transformation with this person that you love as a friend together. Another possibility is as well that a toxic relationship, a friendship, could end here. And because this energy is quite positive to you, it's about you cutting those cords, because Uranus in the 5th house is about, this is me, this is who I am, and I'm freeing myself up, so to speak. So I don't see this, if you would cut cords with a friendship, or they would do with you, that you would like, oh, no. It's more the feeling of this was dying anyways, or a group of people, or maybe you're going to cut yourself off from Facebook, or you're going to cut yourself off from other social media stuff that is just no fulfilling for you. Could be as simple as that as well. Aquarians, the 10th house, this is work. And if you're not working, it's about how you present yourself to the world. There is a shift here in your social status. That could be an ending and a new beginning. Social status, I mean, it could be from being single to being together with someone, or being married to divorce, you know, depending on your situation, of course. For some of you, it's also connected to a parent. There is a surrendering and a transformation going on with a connection to a parent, or a parent is going through a rough phase and transforming, and you kind of transform with them, so to speak. Whatever it is, this is certainly an opportunity, if you are in a soulless job, to change the job and to go towards your core and what your soul wants. There is a trine to Neptune in the 2nd house. That is like being very, you could say, supported by things that are not material. And that is, of course, your value of the self as well, right? It's not something that you can touch, but it is there. So that is very supportive for you here as well. But for definitely, it could be that if you work for someone, that there are power games and whatnot, this could be the time that you're saying, thank you very much. You solved the problem. I'm out of here. I'm not enabling this power game anymore. I'm out of here. So it could definitely be like that. Pisceans, for you, this is happening in a fellow water sign, which is Scorpio in your 9th. So very supportive. It's in your 9th house. This is about your belief system. This is a surrendering to an old belief system. So there is something that is happening in your 3rd house where Uranus is. So there could be something happening in your neighborhood. And that is like the accelerator, or with your siblings, or with people that you know around you. And they stimulate something in you, and that shifts your mindset. You know, like, oh my goodness, I was wrong in my mindset. My mindset of how I view the world was wrong, and I'm ready to let go of it. And it's frightening because it's something that you've been holding on for a very long time, but it's refreshing. And Neptune is in your first house. So the empathy that you have towards yourself is really healing. You know, sometimes you can say, why did I enable so long a connection or a situation? Why did I do that so long? Why was I so stupid? You know, and it was because you are in that process, and it's that forgiveness that you give towards yourself. Or why have I been forcing things too much? That could be the case as well, with this shift that you are making on a mind level. So for you, it's all about the mind. It's about parts of your mind that are undermining you, and you need to let go of them. And if you do, it's going to make your life so much stronger, so much more beautiful, so much more true and real. So speak your truth. Could mean that you speak your truth as well, or someone else in your neighborhood, right, is speaking a truth, and that shifts the whole point of view, the helicopter view that you have on your life. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's also a deep thing. So don't think that it is a trine. So it is nice energy, but it's Scorpio, right? And Scorpio is all about the death and the rebirth and so on. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. This was the video about the new moon in Scorpio. I hope you it resonated in some way. And thank you so much for listening, and all the best to you. Bye-bye.